Well, here we go, fans. It's main event time here at the EWA in Ludlow, Massachusetts, as the heavyweight champion, Maverick Wild, makes his way to the ring.
And what a fine EWA heavyweight champion he is.
Maverick Wild introduced to this crowd here in Ludlow.
These fans have no respect whatsoever for their champion. The man that represents them. I can't understand that.
And he just loves that. What has happened to Maverick Wild?
You know, after seeing Maverick Wild for the past few years, I've got to say, I just don't even question it anymore.
Well, I got a feeling the roof's going to come off the Elks Lodge as soon as the challenger makes his way from the locker room. As the anticipation builds for the challenger, as Maverick still making out with his title belt there in the corner. And this place is going to erupt, ladies and gentlemen. The #1 contender for the EWA Championship. Very popular Antonio Thomas, one of the most respected athletes in all of New England, if not the entire United States. The Promise, Antonio Thomas, he's got a very bright future in front of him.
Well, that he does, but in order to get to that bright future, he's going to have to get past our current EWA heavyweight champion, Maverick Wild, a man with about 10 times the experience that Antonio Thomas has.
Oh, without a doubt. Antonio Thomas still a newcomer to this business, believe it or not, but he's so polished and so fine-tuned and in tremendous shape. I see a great future for this great young athlete from Springfield, Antonio Thomas, challenging for the EWA title here tonight in Ludlow. There's the bell, and the main event is underway. This is going to be one hell of a match.
Now, Rich, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but last time these two fought, it actually went to the time limit. And Maverick Wild managed to hang on to the belt, even though afterwards, with an extra 5 minutes, Antonio Thomas pulled off the win. But because it was not sanctioned by Commissioner Heartbreaker, did not get the belt.
And the title remained with Maverick Wild, who won that title from Dr. Reginald Heresy in Southbridge, Massachusetts, back in September of 2003. If my math is right, he's going on about, what, 4 months as champion?
And what a year 2003 was for Maverick Wild. Just winning the NEI Invitational Tournament and the EWA Heavyweight Championship in the same year. I mean, he's going to be he's one of the most sought after and hunted wrestlers in the Northeast today. Anyone that wants to make a name for themselves has to go up against him, and that's what Antonio Thomas is doing here tonight.
Yeah. He is definitely the proving ground. You can get by Maverick Wild, then you got a hell of a future in this business. The only problem is not too many people can get by Maverick Wild.
Well, how can you? You never know what to expect from Maverick Wild. He's honestly, he's nuts. I mean, there's no other way to put it.
I remember the first NEI tournament up in Maine this past June of 2003, and I was brought in to ring announce one of the matches, and one of them was Maverick Wild. And man, he was just bouncing around and making some goofy noises all around me in the ring. I was a little nervous, even though I've known this guy for years. He's off the wall.
Well, you know, Maverick Wild, never a lonely man. He always has the voices in his head to talk to.
You know what, though? When they start answering back, you got yourself a problem, and that's Maverick Wild. But you can't discount the fact that he is just one of the most talented, most experienced grapplers in all of New England.
And Maverick Wild not afraid to get dirty, not afraid to brawl. Just Maverick Wild, probably one of the most well-rounded wrestlers I've ever seen. He possesses a little bit of everything. But the one thing he can't do here is try to match strength with Antonio Thomas. Just an incredible physique on this young man.
Oh, yeah. And like I said before, the future is so bright for this kid. And should he be able to defeat Maverick Wild and win that heavyweight title, boy, that would be quite a feather in his cap.
two men sort of just feeling each other out here at the beginning.
Maverick Wild, though, has really had his hands full here in the EWA. Vince Vicalo, who we saw earlier tonight, 16-month undefeated streak intact, has earned himself some shots at the heavyweight title. And like I said earlier, Maverick Wild had to hit him with a steel chair to be disqualified and retain his title.
Well, I'm sure it won't resort to that tonight. I'm sure Maverick Wild can pin Thomas clean 1, 2, 3 here tonight.
But will that match have taken enough out of Maverick Wild? That match just being some 8 days before we tape this event. Is Maverick Wild worn down enough to drop that strap tonight? We're going to find out. But you know what else is going to come into play here? The fan support.
No question whatsoever what corner the fans are in tonight. I mean, when the fans thought that the Promise had won the belt last time here in Ludlow, the roof blew off the place.
I saw the tape, and it was an amazing reaction from these fans. But what a letdown to find out that the title wasn't on the line for the overtime period.
It was good. It was a good outing, but just not good enough.
Antonio Thomas now working the arm of Maverick Wild in the center of the ring. The arm bar applied. There's almost like a hush over the crowd as they're just waiting in anticipation for what the Promise is going to pull out next.
Well, the thing with the Promise is, out of nowhere, this kid just lights up. His opponent, the building, I've never seen someone that can turn it on instantly as well as Antonio Thomas can.
Outside the ring is Antonio Thomas. Maverick Wild waiting patiently in the ring. Much more serious Maverick Wild we see in this match because he knows his title's in jeopardy here against the Promise.
Well, Maverick Wild knows time after time all he's doing is facing some of the hardest, youngest superstars here in the Northeast, but the one thing he always has on all of them is he has the experience edge. He can show these youngsters a thing or two.
Beautiful standing Hurricane Rana for a 2 count by the Promise, Antonio Thomas. Takes Maverick Wild, slams him head first into the top turnbuckle, and what a bump taken by the champion. 2 count again. Your referee is Holyoke Joe.
It's going to take a little bit more than that to get a pinfall here on Maverick Wild.
Wild center of the corner. Thomas charges in. Big clothesline. Backs him into the corner again. Whips him out the opposite side. Charges in again. Another clothesline. Well done by the Promise. And he's laying the fists in there at the top of the head of Maverick Wild. Blocked. Oh! Spine buster. Again. Off the ropes. Oh! You and I could both feel that one even from up here. And again, he gets the count of 2. Antonio Thomas giving his all here in his quest to become the EWA heavyweight champion. Into the corner, up and over goes Thomas. Catches him. Oh! He went to the well one too many times, went for that Hurricane Runner again. He got caught and was powerbombed to the mat by the champion, Maverick Wild.
Whenever you're in the ring with a veteran like Maverick Wild, you've got to be aware that they're going to take advantage of any mistake that you possibly make. And that's why Maverick Wild's our champion. That's why I see him staying our champion for quite some time.
Without a doubt, Maverick Wild went through hell and back to get that title from Dr. Reginald Heresy, and he's going to do everything in his power to retain it here against Antonio Thomas. Blatant choke right in front of the referee in the corner there.
He broke it by the 5. He's all set.
He's got Thomas in a weakened state right now. Pulls him out to the center of the ring. Cinches him up for a high. No, not even. Nice snap suplex by Maverick Wild.
Maverick Wild screaming perhaps at the fans, perhaps at the official, perhaps at the voices in his head. Just can't be sure.
I saw him earlier driving that forearm into the chin while attempting to score the pinfall. Fist to the midsection by Antonio Thomas, fighting back. He's not going to give up. He wants that heavyweight title. Oh, reversal, and he just caught the knee right in the breadbasket. Antonio the Promise Thomas challenging for the title here in front of the hometown crowd here in Ludlow, Massachusetts.
Fans here in Ludlow keep on trying to get behind Thomas, give him that little bit of edge that he needs in order to get the win, but Maverick Wild just cutting him off every chance he can.
And these fans could be the difference maker in this match.
Oh, what velocity!
Thomas went up and over.
Oh!
Wow, forearm knocked him off the apron.
I believe he hit that ring post on the outside there, Rich.
I think he did, head first. And he's down outside the ring. Maverick Wild now looks like he's going to follow up on him. Thomas down, trying to make his way back up to the ring apron and get back in the ring.
Maverick Wild just so methodical, stalking Antonio Thomas on the outside of the ring. They're just picking and choosing his shots, trying to tear apart the youngster.
Yeah, stalking his prey like a hunter. But in this match, he is the hunted, as it's his gold that's on the line. Antonio Thomas wants it, and he wants it bad, and he wants it here in front of his hometown fans.
And I'm sure the fans would like nothing more than to get to finish off this evening by seeing the hometown boy become the new EWA heavyweight champion.
And I got a feeling this match is going to be going on for some time. These two, anything can happen in this match. Maverick now trying to go for the pile driver. And look at Thomas, instead of just backdrop. Oh!
Oh my goodness!
You want to talk about a power bomb. He just drove him to the mat, but Thomas is weakened too. Got to get over and make the pin. Hooks that leg. Only got the 2.
Definitely took the wind out of the sails of Maverick Wild there. Slowed him down a bit.
And that's what I'm saying about Antonio Thomas. He could have just backdropped him, but no, he spun him around and powerbombed him down to the mat.
But Maverick Wild giving it right back.
The spine buster just jarred the back and spine of Antonio Thomas, who's down. And there's Maverick doing that stupid seal thing that, yay, I mean, come on.
Definitely not endearing himself to the fans here in Ludlow tonight.
He's wasting time, though. He's wasting time. Goes for the pin. Once again, gets that 2 count.
It'll be interesting, Rich, to see as this match goes on, which one of these two are better conditioned. I mean, just looking at it, you can obviously tell the promise Antonio Thomas, an incredibly conditioned young athlete. But let's not forget, when he won the NEI Invitational Tournament, Wild had to have 3 matches that night against some of the greatest superstars throughout the Northeast. And he did it. So as this match goes on, I'm really curious if Thomas is going to have what it takes.
Oh, great reversal by Thomas. Managed to land on his feet. Unbelievable.
Caught Maverick Wild off guard there.
Yeah, Maverick Wild went through hell to win that NEI tournament, defeating the Hurricane John Walters in the finals. I mean, that's an accomplishment in itself.
I believe he beat Adam Booker in the opening round, too. I mean,
Adam Booker and Latin Fury Luis Ortiz. I mean,
no slouches themselves. I mean, the best of the Northeast.
Nothing but the best in that tournament from top to bottom. But think about it. Adam Booker, we've listed all the titles he's held. Luis Ortiz has held multiple titles throughout New England. And then Hurricane John Walters, currently very active in the Ring of Honor promotion. I mean, those are 3 big wins for Maverick Wild, and he earned the distinction of being the best in New England and the best here in the EWA. Got to give him credit for that.
Oh, definitely. And Antonio Thomas just realizing what a win over Maverick Wild would mean to his career. I mean, himself one of the most sought-after superstars here in the Northeast.
Without a doubt. Almost a version of a surfboard now. He's got the chin locked, bending Thomas back. This puts tremendous pressure not only on the back, but the neck and shoulders as well. Trying to force a submission, but I don't see that happening.
In all the times I've seen Antonio Thomas wrestle, I've never seen him submit, ever.
No.
Never even come close.
No. And listen to these fans getting solidly behind the challenger. As Maverick breaks the hold. Follows him up from behind. Going for a suplex.
Oh.
Belly to back version. Takes him down to the mat. Doesn't hook the leg. And only got 2.
Hopefully that won't cost the champion. A little bit of arrogance shown there with the lackadaisical cover.
The EWA champion now backs his challenger into the ropes. Drop toe hold, very well done. Elbow right to the small of the back.
Maverick Wild kind of seems to be focusing on the back of Antonio Thomas now. Just slowly, probably trying to break that back if he can. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Maverick Wild.
Oh, I wouldn't either. Very smart wrestling, though. You take out the back, you've taken out pretty much the entire body. And Antonio Thomas in a bad way right now. Maverick Wild quickly follows up with a gut wrench salto. Drove the spine. You see how he just drove the small of his back right into the mat.
That lower back just colliding with the ring with such force.
And again, he only got the 2 count, but all he's going to do is keep wearing down the challenger. Antonio the Promise Thomas. Fist to the face, forearm to the side of the head by the challenger. Maverick off the ropes. Telegraph that maneuver.
Oh! The youngster to the outside.
Back body drop. It almost looked like he hit his chin on the apron on the way down outside the ring.
Maverick showing a little bit of that experience again, and seems to have problems with referee Holyoke Joe.
The voices must be telling him that.
Oh!
Unorthodox elbow off the apron.
I don't know who that would have taken more out of, Rich.
He doesn't care.
No, he doesn't.
Again, you can see the red welts starting to rise on the back of Antonio Thomas as he's taken right into the merchandise table. Blocked, and Maverick hits the table head first.
That one backfired. I don't know if you can do much damage to Maverick Wild, though, by just focusing on his head.
Just might shake up the voices a little bit.
Might make him a little angrier.
Fist to the midsection. Thomas goes up and over. Sunset flip. Got the legs hooked. And only got the count of 2. What an elbow by the champion. Takes Thomas down to the mat. What a great match. Evenly contested thus far.
Maverick Wild definitely seems to be trying to slow the pace of the match. He knows how fiery Antonio Thomas can be, and he can't let him get back in control. Just slowly wear away. Wear him down, and you'll finally get the pinfall.
Yeah, once he cuts off that charge and puts things in his perspective and takes a nice slow approach like he does, wearing down one body part, just like the Andersons used to do back in the 70s. Again, the Boston Crab, tremendous pressure on the back. Has not strayed from that game plan, and it's working to his favor right now.
Well, I said earlier I'd never seen Antonio Thomas submit before, but after the beating his back's taken, I question if he's going to be able to get out of this move.
Well, look at the arch and look at the torque he's putting on the small of the back.
Thomas
right
working his way to the ropes.
Doing anything he can to reach the ropes and force a break here. Holyoke Joe's right there to call it.
Ludlow fully behind Thomas, and he gets there. Ludlow erupts.
And they erupt for a rope break. I mean, that's amazing, the support that they have for this great young competitor, Antonio Thomas.
Well, they know that as long as this young man does well, it makes them all look well. You know, these people, they have no lives of their own. They have to live vicariously through these superstars. I mean, look at them. They're pathetic.
Again, absolutely no need for those comments. As Maverick Wild now has got Thomas set up on that top rope. What's he going to do from here?
Oh, you never know. You never know with Maverick Wild.
He could take him over backwards, for God's sakes, out to the arena floor. Looks like he's going to try and go for a sunset flip, but...
Oh, back drop.
Back body drop. And Antonio now on that middle turnbuckle trying to situate himself. He's definitely weakened. Oh, he came down and Maverick caught him. You could see the experience showing.
Oh!
Wow. Ouch. You want to talk about strong style. Reversal by Thomas.
Oh!
Beautiful German suplex. Released him, and that could do it. If he could just float over and make the pin, we could have a new champion, perhaps. That German suplex, devastating maneuver.
Both men slowly trying to get to their feet. We're up to the 5 count already here. One of them's got to get up.
Maverick Wild is stunned. Both men trying to make their way back to their feet. Referees counts up to 7.
Fans here in Ludlow trying to give more support to the Promise. Maverick, first one to his feet, though.
Fist to the face by the champion, one in retaliation by the challenger. That's more like a bolo-like forearm from Thomas.
Oh!
Can you say
lost a tooth there? Jeez.
Back elbow, Maverick Wild down on the mat, goes for the pin.
We almost had a new champ there, Rich.
Hooked the leg and got a count of 2. Maverick Wild now taking off the ropes. Military press!
Oh! Some of that power shown by the youngster.
Power and agility to pull that one off, and he only got the count of 2.
I think the fans here in Ludlow thought that he had that one wrapped up, too.
I was all set to ring the bell. I thought we had ourselves a new champion here in the EWA, the Eastern Wrestling Alliance, coming to you from Ludlow, Massachusetts. Oh, power slam by the Promise. 2 and no. What does Antonio Thomas have to do to defeat Maverick Wild?
Maverick Wild showing some of that conditioning, some of that toughness that he has, and that's what you got to have if you want to be EWA heavyweight champion. Fighting back now.
Wild now off the ropes, caught by Thomas, goes for the slam.
Oh!
Reverse neck breaker, and that could do it. 1, 2, no. And Thomas starting to get a little bit frustrated now, being unable to defeat the champion, Maverick Wild.
Well, this might just play into Maverick Wild's hands then. Maverick Wild always keeps a cool head in there, crazy as he may be.
He just drove Thomas down to the mat, again working on the small of the back. He is not straight. Oh, wow, that was close. 2.5 right there. He is not strayed from that game plan of wearing down the back of Antonio Thomas. If this keeps up, it's going to be a successful title defense for Maverick Wild.
Thomas kind of looking like he's running on fumes in there, and I can't say that I blame him.
Just as you said.
I could be wrong, though.
Great defensive wrestling, though, by Maverick Wild. Goes from behind.
Oh!
Wow. He just drove the knee right into the small of the back.
So vicious.
If he could float over and get the pin right now, I don't think Thomas can kick out. 2, and oh, you saw that. Could barely get the kick out. Just got that right shoulder up off the canvas.
You know, if I were Thomas, there's no shame in just laying down and taking the pin here. I mean, he's got to think about it. Maverick Wild is eventually going to end up breaking his back if this match continues.
And I think that's the game plan, and I wouldn't...
Oh!
Go ahead, the Tornado DDT, and he just took out Holyoke Joe.
Amazing! Some of the fans trying to help give the count as Holyoke Joe's down. Thomas, by my count, would have had the win right there.
Unfortunate incident right there as he went for the Tornado DDT. The legs caught the head of Holyoke Joe, and he's down on the mat.
Fans here in Ludlow trying to yell at the referee, get him to wake up.
And the fans were making the count. We should have had a new champion.
Maverick Wild from behind.
Full Nelson. Slam.
Oh!
That's going to do it. If the referee could wake up.
But 1, 2, 3. I mean, there's a 3 count also.
He's got him covered for 6 or 7. Antonio Thomas's eyes have rolled to the back of his head. What's he
I don't like that look in Maverick Wild's eyes.
No.
I think he just had an idea.
Yeah, and I got a feeling it's going to be.
He's not.
What's he doing?
Well, I don't like it when Maverick Wild.
He's coming over here.
How are you doing, Mr. Wild? Oh boy.
What are you doing? Wild has got the bell.
The ring bell, and this doesn't bode well for Antonio Thomas at all.
No.
The crazy man's got a piece of steel in his hands.
A piece of steel connected to a big hunk of wood.
Some of these fans might want to watch out too. I wouldn't put past Maverick Wild to take out a few of them on the way.
I thought he was coming to grab your cane that's sitting here at the table, but he's got the bell.
He could have grabbed the table, a camera. You never know what he's going to use. Oh no.
No.
Oh no.
Oh! And the bell is just drop kick into the head of Maverick Wild. Unbelievable. Great defensive wrestling by Antonio Thomas with the drop kick.
And meanwhile, the referee never saw any of it. Thomas,
he's got him pinned.
Referee, make it count.
We got a new champion. We got a new champion.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, and was.
I had to run the bell, but it wasn't here.
Antonio Thomas has done the unthinkable. I couldn't have picked a better night to make my EW debut. The Promise, Antonio Thomas, pulls the victory out of nowhere and wins the gold.
I can't believe it. I thought Maverick Wild was going to hold that belt forever. Antonio Thomas, the youngster, comes in and has the EWA Heavyweight Championship in his first few years in the business.
Could be the youngest EWA champion in history. We're going to have to check the books, but Antonio Thomas can't be more than 23, 24 maybe years of age. And he is the new champion of the Eastern Wrestling Alliance.
I can't believe what we've seen. What an incredible night of action. Finishing up with a brand new heavyweight champion.
These fans are very excited. That new champion, the Promise, Antonio Thomas on to victory. Dr. Everett Payne, what else can we say?
It's been a pleasure. I've honestly got to say, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, you know, I think this might work.
As long as all the rest of the nights go like this, you know, just keep yourself in line. That's all I'm saying, Rick.
I was a little off tonight, but I want to thank you for helping me out. We got a new champion. On behalf of Dr. Everett Payne and myself, Rich Palladino, and the new champion.
Fans here in Ludlow, they're loving it.
The Promise on to victory. We'll see you next time on EWA Home Video. Good night.